Hello, we are live. It is Friday. It is 4 o'clock. It is time for some functional health. And yeah, today's topic is detoxification. And if you've already watched lots of my videos on detox, stay tuned because this is going to be different. It's going to be better. It's going to be more useful for everyone. That's the plan anyway. So this is following on from Wednesday's broadcast and email, the fact that toxicity is such an issue that it's being brought up in government now at last. Okay, they only spoke about toxicity in unborn babies, but it's a start, and it is the start because that is the start. Well, although it actually starts before that. It starts with the mother. In fact, it starts with the mother's mother. And possibly even the mother's mother's mother. It goes back a long way. So today, a crash course on detoxifying all 40 trillion cells. There's wild estimates about how many cells there are in the human body. Some go up to like 700 trillion. So I'm going to rest at 40 trillion. So you've got a lot of cells, and this process does not happen overnight. Okay, some cells are going to be detoxed fairly quickly. Others, they will take months and months and months, maybe years, some of them, to really reach into the deeper recesses of your being. Now, if you... I've lost my red pen, never mind. If you've watched the 5 R's to cellular regeneration videos, which if you're in my Magnificent 7 group, you would have. And if you've watched some of my earlier trainings, you would have. So the 5 R's that basically look at how everything works are, one, you have to remove the source. Okay. Then you have to regenerate your cell membranes. We're going to come back to this. We're going to restore energy. We're going to cover this. We're going to reduce inflammation. We're going to cover this. And we're going to reestablish methylation. We're going to cover this as well. But I'm not going to go in depth into a lot of these. I'm going to give you a kind of an overview, and I'm going to show you how things work down at the cellular level so that you know some of the things that are going to make the biggest difference to your health and well-being. And hello, Sandra Hart. So, you know what? I'm going to get a different coloured pen. You can still hear me, I know. Okay, so remove the source. Okay, remove the source of toxicity. It's kind of an obvious one, but that's something that everyone needs to start chipping away at personally. So, switching to organic foods, especially if you go and look online, and depending on what country you're in, you can actually Google and find out what plants or what foods have got the most pesticides on them this year or last year, and which foods have got the least pesticides on them. And so some things like celery, they may have pesticides, but perhaps all the good stuff in celery negates that anyway. Broccoli tends not to have many. Strawberries heaped full of pesticides. Potatoes full of pesticides and horrible stuff. So there are some things you really want to avoid. Avoiding wheat and grains to get rid of glyphosate. So, moving outside of London, all these things, getting air filters. There's lots of things you can do to remove the source of the toxins from your life. So you're actually putting less into you. Hello, Andrea Delaney as well. Okay, then you have regeneration of the cell membrane. Shall I use another colour? Yes, I'm going to use blue. Again, I've covered this before, but okay, so your body, as I've hinted, is made up of something like 40 trillion cells. And so a cell is basically a big round blob. Okay, it looks more like an artery now. The cell membrane is not that thick. Okay, but the cell membrane is made up of 2 layers of cholesterol. Yes, you heard me right, cholesterol. And your liver makes cholesterol so you can make more cells, whether it's a bone cell, a brain cell, a nerve cell, a blood cell. Okay, your body needs huge amount of cholesterol, and your liver makes more cholesterol than you eat. Okay, so it's one of the big myths is the fact that eating lots of cholesterol causes you to have heart problems. It's not that simple. Okay, because your body needs loads of cholesterol. Okay, it also needs cholesterol to make hormones. Okay, like insulin, for instance. Okay, so anyway, so your cell membrane is made of basically 2 layers of fat. Okay, and there's all sorts of things that happen inside there. But then inside your cell, you have lots of these things called mitochondria. Okay, and your mitochondria are the things that produce energy. And around the mitochondria, you have cell membranes, and they're much more delicate than the big cell membrane around the cell. So you've got cell membranes, mitochondria. And these are kind of the most important things to really realize about our bodies, whatever it is you're trying to heal, whether it's a sprained ankle, whether you've got acid reflux problems, whether you've got cancer, whether you've got dementia. At the end of the day, it comes down to mitochondria and cell membranes, and this is what I'm focusing on. So you've got cell membranes, and mitochondria is actually, okay, reduce inflammation. Now, inflammation. A lot of people think of inflammation when you hurt yourself, and they think, oh, hello, Becky Evans as well. A lot of people think of inflammation, and Louise Adams, hello. A lot of people think of inflammation as something bad. So you hurt, you're sore, you take an anti-inflammatory, you feel better. Okay, big mistake most of the time. Not all the time, just most of the time. Because inflammation, when your body breaks down, for instance, when you exercise, parts of your muscle are going to break. I just broke some muscle just by doing that. Muscle is going to break. Things break all the time. Certain chemicals are released, okay? Inflammatory chemicals, cytokines, other things. And these inflammatory molecules are actually signals to your body to create a cascade of different events and chemical reactions to basically make more muscle, or to make more blood vessels, to make better, stronger muscle. And when you take an anti-inflammatory, you just knock out the entire system to say, repair this properly, please. So for instance, if you're going out and exercising, but you're so sore afterwards, you're taking anti-inflammatories before, like I have some older golfers and things like this, they actually take an anti-inflammatory before they go and play golf so they don't feel sore afterwards. But what this means is they may not feel sore, but they've just actually stopped their body from actually getting any benefit from the exercise. Okay, but inflammation is an important process, but when it goes out of control and when there's too much, there's a problem. And the anti-inflammatory system in the body is very much linked with the antioxidant system. And a lot of people have heard of oxidation, antioxidants like vitamin C, vitamin E, vitamin A, and other things as well, which we're going to cover in a moment. And a number of years ago, the whole world went crazy on the fact that, antioxidants are the thing, oxidation, which is rusting in the body, and inflammation. So think of rusting and inflammation is oxidation, and it's all bad, it's all bad, it's all bad. If we have lots of vitamin C, lots of vitamin E, lots of vitamin A, lots of antioxidants, we're going to live forever. Didn't turn out to be that way because of what I just said. It's inflammation, and even oxidation is part of a signaling system in our body. And when you actually shut it down completely, it's like basically if there's a fire, you have a fire alarm going off. If you turn off all the fire alarms, your whole body ends up on fire. Nobody comes to rescue you. So it's all about getting things in the right amount at the right time in the right place. And I'm going to cover this mechanism for you in a moment. Okay, so reducing inflammation, which is part of the antioxidant system, basically. Okay, and then what's the last one we have? Restore something called methylation. Okay, which I will get to at the end. Methylation, again, I've done a much longer video on it. Methylation is basically, it's a process that is involved in detoxification. It's also a process that's involved in turning on and off genes. So you need lots of what are called methyl donors and methylators to add methyl to things to help you detoxify or to switch on and off genes. Okay, so it's something that a lot of people are missing a lot of. And I'm going to tell you a really cheap way of getting great stuff in here Thank you very much, Louise Adams. Great teaching style. I learned from people and, well, I appreciate the feedback. So, where are we? Cell membranes. Let's now go... No, let's not do this. I will... No, I will. Now, this is a little bit complicated, but it's fun. All right. So, this is a much bigger picture of a mitochondria. Okay. Now let's get on to oxidation. So basically, when your mitochondria are producing energy, they produce a lot of waste. Okay, this is the simple way of looking at things. Okay, produces a huge amount of waste, just like all power stations. You know, there's all this smoke coming off, all this stuff. Okay. Now the body needs to recycle all of this, okay? And one of the worst things is something called superoxide. Okay, I am gonna write backwards. SO, superoxide, okay? So your mitochondria makes lots of superoxide. And superoxide is really quite nasty stuff, reacts to all kinds of things. And so your body then uses something called superoxide dismutase. This is inside the cell, okay? Superoxide dismutase, SOD. You can actually go and buy SOD supplements, okay? And though I'm not sure how effective they are in some people. Superoxide dismutase is an enzyme that turns superoxide into something called hydrogen peroxide, also known as I'm going to write backwards, 2O2. H2O2, I don't know if you can see that. Yes, you can. So superoxide to hydrogen peroxide. Now, hydrogen peroxide, you may use this in cuts and burns. You know, you put it on and everything fizzes and bubbles away. Now, your ordinary cells have actually got a defense for hydrogen peroxide, okay, to turn it into water. Because as you can see, H2O2, very close to water. And so what the body does next is it turns that into water. And that does that through another enzyme system. Now, here's the thing. Superoxide dismutase needs lots of manganese. I'm not going to write backwards. Manganese, okay, is found in plants. And so the very first thing you need to do to make sure you've got something to stop your body blowing up with superoxide is to make sure you've got lots of manganese by eating lots of plants. This is why vegetarians have more manganese inside them than meat eaters, and why vegans have usually more manganese than anybody else. Now, it doesn't mean to say you have to be a vegan. I'm going to get back to this. You're going to see about balance soon. So manganese is the first thing you need to make sure you've got enough of. So the first thing you need to make sure that you're getting in your diet to help you remove source, the first thing you need is lots of plants, vegetables and fruits, just lots of plants. Okay, now the next thing to get from here to water, you need, You need a few different enzymes, okay? And the enzymes to turn this into water, really badly written backwards. Does it even look like water? Who cares? So basically to do that, you need three things. There's a few different processes happening, but basically to turn hydrogen peroxide, H2O2, to just harmless, lovely, fantastic water, you need, I was going to write one thing and then I went to write another. You need iron. Now, if you actually look up, there's two other things. If you actually look up, oh, hello, Wendy Hutton as well. If you look up online iron, okay, a lot of people say that you need to really keep iron low because it's an oxidant, okay? But here's the thing about the body, it's amazingly fascinating, okay? And you actually need iron for part of the chemicals to actually take hydrogen peroxide and turn it into water. And so, while plant eaters are the highest in manganese, they're the lowest in iron, whereas meat eaters are the highest in iron. So plant eaters are really good at one step, but not good at the next step. Meat eaters are not good at the first step, or excuse the meat eaters, but better at the next step. Balanced diet, people, balanced diet, okay? But you also need What's the next things you need? Selenium as well. Selenium and something called glutathione, which I've done videos on before. Just actually go onto YouTube and just write in glutathione detox in the YouTube channel. And hopefully a few videos down, you'll see a picture of me. Video of me, and I think it's Detox Part 1 Glutathione, and you'll learn more about glutathione. Okay. And so glutathione, iron, selenium. Now here's the thing about selenium, okay? Selenium and iron, actually, I'm going to put these down. These are two things that if you've got lots and lots of health problems that are going to be really worthwhile getting tested, okay? Because if your iron levels are high already, you don't want to take an iron supplement, but if they're low, you do. And a selenium. Now selenium, you can actually look up online, you know, what are selenium rich foods? But here's the thing. So for instance, Brazil nuts are meant to be high in selenium. And so if you eat 3 or 4 a day, you should be getting enough selenium. But that's not actually true, because the amount of selenium in the soil varies vastly all over the world and from place to place. So, and the thing is, no plant actually needs selenium. Okay, and it's not toxic to plants either. Too much selenium is toxic to us, and not enough is also a big problem. And so if you have soil that's got lots of selenium in, the plants are going to have lots of selenium. If you're in soil that has no selenium, you're going to have plants, which will include Brazil nuts, with no selenium in. And so you cannot rely on just thinking, am I eating selenium rich soils? Unless you know where the food came from and if the soil is already selenium rich or not. So if you're chronically sick and ill, it's actually quite good to get an iron test and a selenium test to see where you are with those. Now, what was next? What did I want to talk about next? Oh yes, so we've basically converted it to water inside the cell. But outside the cell, okay, because you actually produce superoxide outside the cell as well, okay, it's actually a slightly different set of things you need. Outside the cell, you need zinc and copper and glutathione again. So glutathione comes up twice, okay. And without zinc and copper and glutathione, you can't convert superoxide to hydrogen peroxide to water. And outside the cell, hydrogen peroxide, believe it or not, it's actually used by the immune system. Your immune system makes loads of superoxide, okay. But your thyroid gland, get this is something I didn't know until a few days ago. Your thyroid gland actually makes loads of superoxide in order to make lots of hydrogen peroxide, okay, and this is why your thyroid gland is the most selenium rich gland in the body, because it needs this to actually make sure you can break down the superoxide to hydrogen peroxide, because you cannot make thyroid hormone without hydrogen peroxide. I didn't know that. And so it's actually massively critical that your thyroid gland can actually create inflammation in order to dampen it down just enough to make thyroid hormone to give you energy. Fascinating. Now, I have notes because there is so much I wanted to cover and I knew that I'd forget about things. So, okay, so what we've done is we've converted things to water outside the cell, our cell membranes. Let's get back to the cell membranes as well. Right, here we go. And hello, Katina Ann. So cell membranes. Okay, boom, boom, with our 2 layers of cholesterol. Okay. Oh, round the wrong way, doesn't matter. Basically, they look like little tadpoles. So cell membrane and the cell. So what you have, okay, again, part of the antioxidant system around the cell membrane. So this is all mitochondria and superoxide, but also you need vitamin E, okay, is an antioxidant here, and then when that's doing its work, you need vitamin C to recycle vitamin E. But then you need glutathione, again, to recycle vitamin C. And then what glutathione does, with the help of vitamins, so we've got vitamin E and C, okay, Glutathione again, okay, but then you need vitamins B2 and B3. So that's thiamine and niacin, in order for your glutathione to then dump this oxidative stress into your energy system to create energy. Now this is why, now glutathione comes up all over the place, and this is why I've written loads of stuff on glutathione, because this is why glutathione acts as an antioxidant, it acts as an anti-inflammatory, it also helps you produce energy as well, and you get glutathione from protein. It's made from protein, okay? And glutathione also is a really important fuel for your liver to detoxify. It's also a really important fuel for your immune system. It's really important for your gut as well. It's very, very, very important stuff. And so all of these things work together in order, well, first of all, you remove the source, then you try and remove the stuff from your body. This will help regenerate your cell membranes. It's going to help restore your energy process. It's going to reduce inflammation. That's the process we've covered so far. But there's two things I want to talk about: the cell membrane, okay, because there's something special about. Now, I've spoken about cholesterol, but I don't want you to go out and buy loads of cholesterol, okay, and eat loads of cholesterol. One of the best oils to actually help restore cell membranes if you're very sick is krill oil. Okay, now krill oil, and this is really, really fascinating, krill oil is absorbed into your brain better than ordinary fish oil, into all of your cells better than ordinary fish oil, absorbed in your gut, okay? But there's something called astaxanthin. I know you probably can't see this now. Astaxanthin, again, if you go to YouTube, put in astaxanthin and D3. Just because I did a video on astaxanthin and D3 together, so it should come up. I'll just put in astaxanthin and see if a picture of me pops up. But astaxanthin I first used because it's a great pigment, gets into your skin, makes your skin fantastically healthy, okay, but it protects you from sunlight and sun damage, and it also makes your tan last longer once you've got one. But here's the thing. The reason astaxanthin is such a good sunblock is because it works with krill oil, so krill oil helps you make cell membranes, but astaxanthin actually sits in your cell membrane and actually it works as an antioxidant in the cell membrane itself. So it actually protects the cell membranes of your skin, of your gut, of your brain against damage and rust and aging and all of these processes. So krill oil and astaxanthin really help your cell membranes. It's absolutely fantastically amazing. And it helps spare vitamin C, vitamin E and other things. So yes, you need to eat lots of plants, need to eat some meat with some iron. Zinc come from things like shellfish as well, nuts and seeds as well. Glutathione, you need good amounts of protein 3 times a day. Vitamin E, vitamin C, again, plants, nutrients that you might want to get a supplement. B vitamins people are often really depleted in. Hello, Monica Nielsen. So it's probably a good idea to get a B vitamin with plenty of B2 and B3 in, and then get some krill oil and astaxanthin. So that's 4 supplements really, unless you've got specific problems with selenium and iron. So B2, B3, krill oil, astaxanthin, make sure you've got a really good diet. Now we're going to get to methylation. Now methylation, you can actually go online and you can, if you put in methylation supplements, you can spend, I mean, I've got some outside, and you know, I'm gonna, for some people who really need them, who need lots of methylation, then they're great, okay? But here's the thing, there are lots of different things that are methyl donors, and you can spend money on them, but the first thing I recommend that everybody does to help improve their methylation is to buy something called creatine monohydrate. Creatine, and the specific brand is CreaPure creatine monohydrate, because your body makes loads of creatine and bodybuilders use it because it's needed to help decrease inflammation in your muscles, and it helps with muscle growth. Don't worry, when you have lots, you're not actually going to, it's really hard to grow lots of muscle, okay? But because your body makes so much creatine, but half of your body's methylation processes are tied up in making creatine. Now you can go out and buy lots of methyl groups and methyl donors, so you can spend like 30 quid on a pot that may last you a month, or you can spend 10 quid on creatine powder that will last you 2 or 3 months, okay? That'll do pretty much the same thing. So basically, a decent detox protocol: eat lots of plants, remove stuff from your life that's bad, eat lots of plants, have a balanced diet with good quality proteins in that are all grass fed, some shellfish in there as well, some vitamin B2, vitamin B3, krill oil, astaxanthin, and some creatine. Okay, and possibly throw some zinc in there as well. So just try those simple things. If you really like this video, then please invite all of your friends in to watch this, because there's a whole ton of information in there. I'll maybe put some posts to the videos that I mentioned, which were the ones on the almighty, I'm going to make a glutathione and astaxanthin. Those are the ones I'm going to remember. Invite your friends into their health lab so they can watch this, because the more people that even start understanding the basic easy peasy cellular detox, and the more they start looking at how this all pieces together, why health isn't just about taking one single vitamin pill or just improving your diet a little bit. It's about how it all jumbles together. So if you enjoyed that, please comment below. Please like it, and I said please invite your friends into the health lab and tell them to watch this video and the Magnificent 7 30-day health challenge as well, because the more people we're getting through this, the better we're all going to be. Thank you. Be amazing.